let's talk about the speaking test for the Ielts. The listening, reading, and writing will be taken together on a separate date scheduled for you. The speaking test is scheduled differently. Now, listen to what happens on that day. Remember to go there with your international passport, because once you walk into the speaking test room or hall, you will see an examiner already seated waiting for you. There will be a seat directly opposite the examiner. So when you walk in, please greet the person there, depending on the time of the day. So by the time you get there, you'll be asked to sit down, and the examiner, will collect your international passport just to make sure you are the one that has come for the exam, that it's not a case of impersonation. So after checking your international passport, the person will start asking you personal questions, and that is what we refer to as the part 1 of your speaking test. So during the part 1 session, the person will ask you questions such as, are you a student now or you are working? Please, for every question asked, you need to be elaborate. You don't have to give one sentence answer or one word answer, except when you have been asked to mention your name, for instance. So, but for some other questions, please be as elaborate as possible. Now, after those personal questions that will take quite some time, you move to part 2. For part 2, you'll be given a card. It's called a speaking card, and that card will be given to you to study for 1 minute or 60 seconds. So when you are done studying that card, you are to speak on it for 2 minutes. Please make sure that you have enough things to say for 2 minutes. That's where most candidates find challenging. Please get short stories and get some lists, as the case may be. Let me also add that while you are studying that card, make sure you are taking short notes. Please don't write so much, because 1 minute is too short to prepare for your speaking test. So write short notes. Maybe if you have a story to tell, write 1 word or 2 that will remind you of that story. You have a list to make. Let me give you an example. You have a flash drive and you want to talk about what you use your flash drive for. Just make a list. You save movies, music, files, so that when you start talking, you pick them one after the other and elaborate on them. Now, it's better for you to speak for more than 2 minutes than for you to speak for less than 2 minutes. Take note of that, very important. Now, for part 3, when you are done with your 2 minutes, the examiner could cut you off in 2 ways. It's either the examiner says something like this: this is the end of your part 2 session. Let's move to part 3. Or the examiner will say, there is yet another question for you. So the examiner could just cut in with the next question to introduce part 3 if he doesn't or she doesn't want to stop you. So there are 2 ways again. It's either he tells you that's the end of part 2, or the examiner will cut in with the next question. So take note of those 2. It doesn't matter really. The most important thing is that you ensure you speak for more than 2 minutes as much as possible. Also take note that there are prompts there, so make sure you speak on each of the prompts as you are talking. Finally, part 3 questions will be questions based on what you have said in part 2. Keep watching this channel for more on Ielts and Everyday English. My name is Casey.